It does every time. So strange.
I'll send black magic an email. Welcome to the Steak Knife Show. I'm Tim Schindel.
I'm Sean Foster.
And
we have nothing to talk about.
That's not true.
I mean, or like I complain about it every time. Like organically, we'll get there. But like, there's just no prep work into this.
No, there's not.
Tactics show.
I mean, inherently, we do show practical things, tactical things. We sit here and talk about things.
You know what? I'm just going to complain. I think it's just a bro dude date. And if we didn't have something like one, we're interested in it. Like yes, but this is shit that we talk about at work. We're just recording it.
I mean, it is stuff we talk about at work, but it's also stuff we talk about outside of it because it is, I don't want to say like all consuming.
Like, for us, it's all consuming growth.
No, I don't want to say it is all consuming because there's other facets to our life that we don't discuss or that we do discuss outside of work or at work. Whether that be like personal stuff. So don't think that it's like this show does have a point and it is to talk about like dealing with violence, self-protection, tactics, those kind of things. We don't really diverge into like, I mean, we have stuff on the set that's like a shared interest between him and I and Mike Chaney and I who do the dumpster fire dialogues. Like this is kind of like an amalgam.
Oh, wait. So no, me and Mike Chaney came up together. Like we started jiu-jitsu around the same time. We were there in a whole roads to black belt together. Even though he opened his own gym, I stayed at just from where we lived in Columbus. Like, but like, make no mistake, Mike Chaney can show up in a short bus with a unicorn hat on and throw me an M4. Go with it. Like, I'm assuming you're already on there. There's a couple others. You know who you are?
Yeah, I'm worse off because I live closer.
Yeah. Like, I don't even have to ask questions. Because, all right, cool. I like M4s.
Yeah. Cool. Where are we going? No, so it's not that we don't have anything to talk about. I guess we should prepare better. I guess that's the
We usually do. But yeah, there's also a lot of our stuff is stimuli driven from work or like problems that like we bred to. I feel like we're in a good place. Like, especially with where we're at with the chest rig, we're waiting to see like how to make the six move. But we're going to be shooting some chest rig stuff.
We are. We got a comment on Instagram that we can talk about.
I answered him already.
I know you answered him, but we can answer.
That dude's still Planet guy. You're going to
I know
on Monday.
I've rolled with him before.
Oh yeah, I
did. Yeah.
On that note, let me tell you, me, Jason, Angry Zach, and you are all down for Memorial Day at 10 Planet. So there's at least 4 of us go.
Correct.
So 10 Planet, like Chris, he wants, it's great at Prince and Prince.
Yes.
I can vouch for him. They're semi-cool. Like, what was the comment? Wow, how did he feel about the drop leg holster? He really liked it.
He liked using a drop leg holster. I assume he was in some uniform profession.
Yeah, he asked you.
Or is. I
don't know outside. It's really strange to me, and it's one of the most beautiful things about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Like, people that I have arrested for felony charges, I turned around and rolled with at the gym.
Yeah.
And then one of the most racist white men I have ever met couldn't wait to tackle and giggle with his best mat buddy, who is a devout Muslim. Like, jiu-jitsu is wild. Like, it's very cultish. Do you train? What do you train? Yeah. Is it jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Let's grab a beer, bud. I mean,
the conversation has started.
Yeah, and like it's I think Frasher shared something the other day about like, yeah, me and my wife like 25 years divorced. It's been really hard lately. Like, man, damn, bro, that sucks. Did you get in turtle? I want to try this move.
Yeah.
And they do. They're, yeah, absolutely. Anything to help. Like, it's crazy. But Will, right? Nemesis Will?
Yes.
I already answered him this morning, but like he said, what do you think about it? I really liked it. Here's the thing. And my response was like, I'm never gonna like shit in anybody's Cheerios, right? But for me, like the whole point is like, him saying that he liked it, I don't know why he liked it. He didn't go into, but the one that
so that we can maybe pick his brain about if we see him on Monday.
Yeah, he'll be there for sure. Yes, he's like the assistant manager, so he'll be there.
So nobody's gonna see this until way later.
Yeah.
What we should do is see if see if the owner is cool with us interviewing us. But we can have him, like, you can have a conversation with him about it, why he likes it, why he doesn't.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And we can take the test right
Yeah,
there.
owner's so.
Yeah, well, I know he's a former Marine, so he's like down to talk like tactics and everything like that. So.
But the response that I've got from drop leg holsters specifically is quick draw. Like I feel like it's the fastest draw to get on target. But I love that, right? Especially if you're a professional shooter or you comp shoot, all this stuff. Like that's your money, and I love that for you. For me, I need every tool to be completely safe, even if I'm rocked. And I need to have easiest access to it in a dire situation. A drop leg holster, having worn one hated, I can't say how many times I got a bruise from banging the door shut on my leg with it exposed, that exposed hard plastic hitting into my leg, right? The true one though, that really, like I never wore it again. We were going to cuff somebody with hands on, a scramble happened, and all of a sudden him and my partner on top of me digging. It was raining out, so when digging this drop leg holster into the wet mud, and I can't shrink. It's just every time
attached to
it's attached to the ground where it's soft, and I can't. Now I show it's truly, which I can't even get my hand around the handle. It's sunk into the mud. So like, and I have two men on top of me. Like, it's not. That immediately. I never wore it again. I wore it as a costume. Like I wore it as like a costume.
So I never wore one consistently. I did practice with one while I was in the Marine Corps, and thinking about it now that I'm much more educated on like up close personal violence, you're gonna talk about taking your barriers or helmet further away from your face and your head. Like you have to fully extend your arm to typically get to the drop leg holster.
Well, and
so now it's taking your helmet away, whereas the short travel we're talking about,
you might even be able to partially clear and shoot through your holster.
Yes.
Like on top of like what did we say? We said cowboys, right? Cowboys are like if you're on an ATV, maybe a drop leg. Then my problem with that is like,
but even then, after I thought about that more, it makes more sense to carry it here because I can come in. And there's even
the reins, like you said. Yeah, like I'm thinking about how many times do horses like fall over you, that your horse gets shot or it breaks its leg and it falls on you, and now it's pinned under the horse.
Yeah.
Like,
well, there's a company called, just completely blanked out. They make backpacks, but one of the things that they're really big on is they make a front carry pouch, and it's so that you can carry your handgun up above your waistline.
Yeah.
And
there's a
it's not Mystery Ranch.
I know
their name. It'll come to me.
Yeah, when it just screaming out when it comes into your fog-laden brain. There's a big one that I saw. There's a big push for it. They were like you said, like a side satchel sling, but it's right here. And now they turned into kind of like tactical fanny packs where you can carry your firearm, but they had that. And I remember I was like, that's cool. And then it was right around the time of the Dark Knight shooting.
Yep.
A company put out the ability to put like a collapsible MP5 or
bag,
on your front though.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, that's wild. Like, but I really think like this, and I think it is one of those things where like we've just done it a different way for so long, and there's so much product. Like, let's just talk about it like from, again, logistics, which is I find logistics, even though like I hate logistics because I don't ever have solutions, I find it so interesting, right? Like, one of the big no's that I've been told is we already have so many gear belts. You spend all this money on gear belts that we're going to use them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, okay, like, cool. And it's such a strange thing. And like that there are those moments where like it's truly daunting. I was like, fuck it. Like, it's not going to change. Like,
what do you mean by logistics? He's talking about agencies that already have large quantities of an item that they provide to the officers. Mm-hmm. So they've spent the money, it's budgeted that way. And then I think this is something that can be said, like, I know we've kind of diverged off though, why a drop leg isn't necessarily the best option. We addressed it, but we'll go back to it. Logistically, your agency is buying something like that. They're probably not going to steer away from it because the training standard for that is already there. So they see a huge barrier to shift the culture to something new and train on it.
Well, not just that, there's just an acceptance of injury.
Yeah. Yeah, there's an acceptance of injury, but there's also an acceptance of, this is what I know. I'm willing to continually spin in this cycle. And yeah, we're seeing the same injury, but it's a known injury and it takes about this long, and that's okay. Or it's a long-term injury and we won't have to deal with it.
So one of the most interesting things that I heard from, and it literally, I was like, man, that is a solid point. He said, of your department, like, would you trust people to carry firearms as chest carrier? I gave me great pause, and I immediately knew where he was going with it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on a department where we had somebody who didn't have his first desk pop with us, had his second desk pop with us, and they made him the firearms instructor after the desk pop, so they'd have more responsibility and think about his actions more. But had he, like, let's say you have poor trigger discipline and you go to holster and you shoot yourself in the leg, probably survivable.
Maybe.
If you have a chest holster, you're either shooting yourself in the chest or head or the other person's in the chest and head. And I said, oh no, I don't trust a lot of our people in our department for chest carry. Oh no.
Let me throw a dark caveat to that. You solved 2 problems.
Sometimes even I am thrown off by your dark humor. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. I think the thing that bothers me is how much I'm into it. Like, that's a good one. You're accurate.
Yeah.
Oh God. I don't even know how to recover from that. Drop leg holsters. They're comfy. They look cool. They make you feel cool. You can shoot really fast. But
I did not find them as comfortable as most people. I did not like having it banging into my thigh and knee. Like, especially like you said, like closing doors and stuff, but I'm even talking like walking around and then like being conscious of like snagging it. Like, even in country, the 1 or 2 times that I had it on, because like I borrowed somebody in my leadership's like drop leg, even though it was the wrong hand, it didn't matter. Like, we just used it. Like, getting in and out of vehicles, like, now I'm talking Humvees, and those are just like a sharp edge factory. They're horrible.
no, I mean, don't discount the experience that you had. Like, I'm telling you, from like cruisers and sedans, because we did undercover work with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not great. They're comfy. Let me rephrase what I said when I said comfy. They're comfy when you're standing guard. Like, they're comfy
Because they're not on your waist. So it's not limiting your hip mobility. It's offsetting it on just a kind of like a non-movable.
And if you're like walking around or something, and you're not doing, like, you're not hiking, like, you're not marching, like, it's comfy, right? Plus it does a lot of it. And again, a big no factor that we get for the chest carry is it looks too military, right? It is intimidating when you're talking to somebody, or because I've witnessed, I watched this dude who was all flamboyant and all loud and want to be loud, and then my partner rested his hand perfectly on the drop leg holster, and all of a sudden we got compliance.
Yeah.
And I was like, like, that is scary.
It is.
Like,
yeah.
So like the cool factor, rule of cool applies.
Yeah.
But there were so many good points, and I'm just gonna go to Instagram and read his comments so I can prep, or so I can answer this correctly. How do you feel about drop? I felt like I liked mine when I was on duty, so clearly turns it down. You guys don't need to hear us twice. I said, talk about it greatly, but I hated in and out carbing, and Lord forbid you ever get into a struggle in the wet grass. A lot of people argue about the speed of draw, but remember, most of us aren't looking to shoot somebody. In terms of scaling violence, the chest rig allows us our body's full athleticism while allowing high natural attention and keeping all our tools in our workspace. And then I wrote that this morning as soon as I woke up. Also, we're not, as you said earlier, dropping a shield from an active fight on my gun. I'm not going to drop my shield back and put myself in an unathletic, completely dominant position if they have any idea of how the body functions. if you do this to me in a fight, you're going to make Kimura grip, and I'm going to flip you onto your head. If we're buddies and there's a mat, you're going to roll safely to your back, and I'm going to apply a Kimura. If we're fighting for real, I will make sure the first thing that hits is your forehead, and then we are going to scorpion roll over your neck, hopefully breaking your neck, as well as your shoulder. Like, it's this motion, like, is just this is as far as I can go naturally, and I can't scratch my back because of injury and just how tight my shoulders are. Like if you have to think, if I'm in a cruise right now and I need to draw, I've got to like out and then bring it around, right? It just doesn't work very well.
Well, even in a drop leg, like, I think most people are like, when they're sitting, you think it's like this, but if you've ever been in a cruiser,
you're about like this. The chairs are perfect.
I mean the front,
yeah,
not the back,
because you got the computer or whatever.
Yeah,
you guys
and DT and like all that stuff is like crowded. And think about reaching here, or even here, like you're talking about, like for a right-hander, or for me, like I was a left-hander.
Where are you going to shoot?
Yeah, myself maybe. It's like, what? It's tactically frustrating. Like, and there's courses out there that people pay a lot of money for to practice drawing from concealed waist carries, which blows my mind that they're like, yep, this is what I want to do. Like, we talked about it in like the lab over there. Like, the fat rolls in the way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the chubby one.
Oh my god!
Look at the comments. You'll understand.
That's part of a different show. It's not even the same thing. Yeah,
that's part of the Dumpster Fire dialogues. But yeah, like the if you are gifted with the bad body such as I, like, you have to deal with that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, just get skinnier. Like, nah, even at 170 pounds, I look like this. I look like melted ice cream. Been there, done that. So it's one of those things, like, if you're inherently just kind of like me, like, you just kind of look meh, like, you have to deal with those as like a true factor of like, how do you tactically handle stuff like that? I've tried to deep carry like that before. I'm good.
Well, there's that. There's also the pucker factor of like something goes down and you have to draw, and that barrel, as you're in a high intensity situation, is facing your junk and belly. And
yeah, or the famous / infamous picture of the dude who would wear concealed. He was a cop and he concealed with a leather holster, and he shifted and moved, and the leather pressed without him touching his holster or anything. Pressed inside the trigger well and shot from the root of his penis down through the base of his balls, and he survived. And there was a forum that I was a part of, I'm not anymore, where he posted the unedited pictures to be like, hey, don't carry leather.
Ugh.
Only carry leather external, and I'm even telling you that's probably a bad idea.
Ugh.
Like he said, he's like, I'll never. He's like, luckily I survived. He's like, everything works. He's like, but like, I will never carry a leather holster again.
He gave himself a second bubble.
In something else, I guess.
Whoa.
Like, yeah, it was brutal. That's one of the more brutal things I've ever seen. And like, he's like, this was because I had this faith in this leather holster. So
I also see that. I see that as well. Like, I've seen a couple guys like that I've known for years who, like, that holster, it should have been thrown in the bonfire years ago. Like, it's flimsier than fuck. Like, I've seen your gun practically drop out. Get a new holster. Like, it's my favorite. It's my lucky charm. Great. Throw it in your bag for sentimental value.
Yeah.
Don't wear that shit.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately, leather fades. It fails. Even like kydex and stuff like that. Like the hinges and stuff. Like, I mean, what do we use? We use it's our holster for our tasers that we like. Blade Tech. Blade Tech, man. Like, I love your stuff, but the leather snap.
No, it's like a soft polymer.
Yeah, and it rips. It rips from just I think the only reason I draw my taser is to do my safety check.
Well, you got to switch back to
the one that taser. Yeah,
that's Safari.
Because I went through 2 of them just.
So what he's saying is he was training with his taser.
Yeah.
Enough that key component to keep the hood fully secure. So it's like a hooded system. Like, it's like comes down and there's a snap on it. So you unsnap, push it forward to actuate. Like it's a more straight, natural draw, which is one of the reasons we like the Blade Tech as opposed to the Safari Land. Safari Land isn't bad, but it's this push hood mechanism
Down and
forward. So then you got to rock the taser out, and you got to rock the taser out.
And then that, even as an Ireland ones, I keep snapping the safety on one of the sides off from just drawing it from training and like maybe safety or function test.
Function test.
Like,
But anyways, that snap failed, and it's got twice.
Yeah, it failed twice.
And what did they tell you?
That second time they were like, "Got to buy another one, man." And I was like, because they sent a free one. They did. Now, the reason we really dig it is because it's got the circular lock or the circle lock.
Yeah, they have one of the coolest all-purpose mounts I've ever played with. I'm sure that there's another company that makes something like it. Basically, you can mount any weapon system that they have, the proprietary plate on the back and the mount. You can mount it in any orientation.
It's a circle, and you spin it, and it's super cool.
And it locks at varying degrees. So it's not like you have like a couple positions. I think you have probably upwards of like 40 positions.
What's the cardinal compass? Where it's got northeast and northwest, like it's got like, and then there's
like varying
degrees in between that. Like,
so it's a true like 360 like locking system. There's increments, and you can unlock it and totally change the orientation and lock it in at that angle. It's a very cool piece of gear. So you can do that with a firearm. You can do it with anything you can attach to that mount. You can do it with OC, handcuffs, like all that stuff. So very cool piece of kit. Just the actual holster that they make, it hasn't failed on mine, but I'm giving it time.
Yeah. And I'm
also just trained right-handed with you.
Yeah. So you got the most of the training between Cheney and you and me, and like the work you did with Chris Miner and Ashley.
Yeah.
Like it got.
That was even. I think I had a different one for that.
No, it was mine.
Oh, okay.
It was mine. And
they weren't being rough with it, neither were we. It's just like we were bending and flexing that piece. It was just drawing it.
Yeah, just the act of using it the way it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and I'm not hating on Blade Tech. I'm just saying it, like, we're bringing it as a constructive criticism so that it can be fixed and like you can make your product better.
Yeah. To that point, I've never had an issue with their gear before that.
Nope.
Because we actually, as a department, when we carried X26Ps, before we switched to the current taser we have, we switched wholesale Blade Tech because they were so much better. We had the Blackhawk Serpas, and sorry, Blackhawk, they suck.
You were cool. You were cool when you first started, and then that paddle.
It's not just the paddle; it's the mechanism that controlled the paddle.
Yeah.
So it came back to I was training with that device so much that I went to draw or manipulate it, and I put it back in, and I was walking through one of the areas where we worked. It fell out of the holster, hit the ground, and I was like,
you ever heard this story?
Yeah. I was like, picked it up, looked at the thing, like, I was
a psych?
No.
Oh my.
No. So I went to somebody above me. I needed a holster, like, show wrong, like, send an email, documentation. And, like, I had to wear a wrong side, strong side position holster for, like, a week before we could order another holster. But, yeah, like, I went out and I found the Blade Tech holster for what we were doing. So I was like, there's got to be something.
Let's switch to it.
Yeah, I switched to it. I think another agency that we work with pretty regularly had one. And I was like, what do you think of those? And they're like, they're great. And I picked somebody that I got an opinion that I trusted.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, Blade Tech, you make good stuff. I enjoy it. Just that one flaw in the taser
kind of breaks it all down.
It's real odd, like really an odd thing. Like I would be fine with a much more rigid, like snap. Like it's a confidence inspiring. You know what I mean? Like the material can be more rigid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know because
yeah,
I don't know what caused that break, or like it's like you said, it's a rubber. Like I thought it would stay stronger. Maybe
it might be too rigid.
Maybe that was it. Maybe it was just too rigid.
You know, us being scientists speaking.
I'm not
fucking any of that. I'm just a guy who uses the end product, and I have an opinion about it. That's it.
I have some problems, and the only thing I care about is making sure stuff works well in a fight.
Yeah.
So
And that's really what we're talking about. Like whether it be, we're talking about the drop leg, we're talking about chest rated carry, talking about regular baseline carry with tension. Like part of the goal of this, like, is to kind of like needle out and like suss out like those things that do what don't work. Like
I'm confident that we'll get there. What I'm not confident is that we're gonna get all this, and it's completely prove it. Like we can prove it. Like this is how it should work. But there's what you have failed to convince me of is that we're ever gonna make a headway in the real world. Out there in the real world, like I can't just go show up to work in my chest rig, even if I buy it on my own. Like even though I can prove without a doubt it's infinitely better. Like. It's all again another. It goes back to like I'll tell you one that like, and I get made fun of a little bit for it. Like, I guess what would you equate a black belt in a good like functional, applicable combat sport? What would you equate it to in like terms of the adult world?
Like, are we talking like education level?
Sure. Yeah.
Perception.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, depending on what. Like if you're talking jiu-jitsu, judo, like, or even if you come to me and tell me you're an experienced wrestler, I think there is, especially if they started at such a young age,
and they wrestle the whole life,
all the way through college, and now they do like club. That's, I mean, some of that would be the equivalent of having like an advanced degree,
right?
Like,
so the one that
I would say like
one of my judo buddies, like, he's a master welder. Like he taught welding. He taught different kinds of welding. Like, and he said the closest thing to my degree is your black belt.
Yeah.
And then he for being a country bumpkin, like he very well articulated it and like made me a believer. And to the point that I went to my chief of police and I said, hey, if we have an advanced degree, you pay us more, right? He said, yeah. And I said, cool. And I slid my certificate across from USJA Judo or USJA Judo. And I said, here's my degree that says I am a master at this, and I can apply it in our job right now.
Yep.
And he said, that's not how it works. I said, really? So what if I had whatever the documentation is to be like a master welder, even though it has nothing to do with our job? I can't show you that I'm at right now in this moment.
Yeah.
He said, oh, we would absolutely pay. And I said, so a vocational thing that like I go and get this, like, and I do the work, like I do the hours and all that stuff, and it doesn't apply to our job in any way, shape, or form. You're going to pay them a ton more money. Yeah. But this thing that you certainly use me for on my days off and like make me stay over to teach and it applies to our job doesn't equate. And I say, okay, fine.
So he said no.
Yeah, I said no.
Yeah.
I said, okay, fine. So how can I go about getting this a similar accreditation?
Right.
He said, no, that's impossible. That's not how the real world works. And I said, huh.
That's not totally true. That shows a lack of knowledge on his part because, and here's where I'm going with this. You could probably take that to some colleges and they would give you physical education credits for that.
Maybe.
No, I'm being dead serious.
Yeah, but like,
as you think about it, what clubs do they run at a lot of colleges? Judo, jiu-jitsu, boxing, and they give PE credits for those clubs as opposed to like, if you don't want to play bowling, you don't want to fucking do track. You like, it's like, can you imagine going to like
bowling? Is that
air bowling?
No, do you play bowling?
Yeah, I mean it's a sport.
Where to go bowl? Like it seems like it's an verb.
Yeah. Like there are things that are clubs at a lot of big colleges because, I mean, it's like you go to a D1 school and you're like, I played football, so I guess I'm going to do that. And they're going to be like, no. Like, who are you? Like, we recruit people to this school.
Yeah.
And they make millions of dollars off NIL deals now. Like, you what? You played in high school? Cool, man. Did we recruit you? No. Like, but I need my PE credits. Yeah, like no, like it's not how that works. So you go and you get like PE credits for like other stuff.
That still doesn't again satisfy my thing, I guess, because
no, I know
because like it's PE, we'll give you some credits, but you have to come take these other courses, right?
Yep.
But like again, it doesn't have anything to do with welding. Like for the job that we're talking about, like security,
being in a uniform.
Yeah, being
I am
Although, you know what, if they're going to offer like verbal judo or some practical psychology, like how to de-escalate and things like that, like I would absolutely take those to get something accredited that somehow allowed me to get paid what I feel I'm due for my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, my judo black belt, in my decades of fight experience, like practical.
And that's where like it is funny. People are like, I'm gonna go get a criminal justice degree.
Yes.
And what I'm saying is like and it's not like a lot of people have put years and years and years into those degrees. Some even going into advanced degrees of the humanities and like social sciences and getting these high level degrees, and they go out and become a cop, they become a whatever, and half that washes, more than half. Like you won't write that way when you're writing reports. You may be better at putting it together a presentation, maybe. Like, okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's no group projects in a real job.
Because that, and you got to be careful about doing it too well, because they'll just give you more work.
Not even just more work. They'll be like, cool, it's a group project. That means you do it.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
Like,
I had a sergeant who slaved away because he wanted the master's degree money and all that stuff. And when I say slaved away, I'm pretty sure his wife did it for him. He got a master's degree in accounting.
Okay.
And got a bunch more money. And then was like, oh man, like you guys got to work the system, and just, it doesn't matter what you get a master's degree. And like, so now on top of like keeping myself physically fit, doing hobbies to stay mentally well, doing this really stressful job that wears me down, and I miss stuff, like I miss family time, I miss stuff, and I have to go to school for something I absolutely don't care about, spend more money so that I can hopefully convince somebody to pay me money for something that has nothing to do with the job that I'm doing. Like that's one. How is that a thing?
I think, and that's like one of those things, like so I went to art school for a year, took like some basic classes, they were more than happy to accept me in art school that I went to, and even giving me like some scholarships for just like the foundational stuff and my photography. And honestly, I just didn't care. I didn't care.
Did you squander the opportunity, or were you not interested?
I was not interested for a couple of reasons. It's not that I would like, the thing that I like about the school that I'm like at and looking at is their first year, they call it foundations. And so they literally help you become a much more well-rounded creative person.
Cool.
I think honestly, if the whole school, like from beginning to end, had been like that, I would have been more interested in that and expanding my creative skill set year over year over year, instead of like narrowing it down to one thing. I would have been more interested in that.
So you didn't want to be refined. You wanted to dabble.
I wanted to dabble because I was already refined. I already knew what I wanted out of the one thing, out of photography.
Okay.
I was already doing it.
Gotcha.
So, and it's not that it wouldn't have afforded me some opportunities, but I was already tied into people doing the thing.
Well, I mean, all you're
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, all you're really describing right now is how you and I approach our training regimen as jiu-jitsu. Like, oh, we need leg locks. Guess we're going to Grove City. Oh, we want to mess with knives. Guess we're going to hang out with Mike. Like, oh, we need to do some stick stuff. We're going to go talk to Tony Jamie, or that dude that Aaron uses. If we need like close guard, we go to Mike Queen's or Gracie. If you want like true hard like high level competition rounds, there's like Bronin or Grove City also does that. There's a couple gyms around here that do. If you want wrist locks, you go to Triumph Jiu-Jitsu. Like, if you want or and then Koi, if you want like to try to say like you run into the same person, just run the same person.
Koi was at open mic yesterday.
Was he?
Koi is such a nightmare.
You run into somebody in competition, and they are just you ever see like two cats fight and they kind of like become a tumbleweed of fur and claws?
Yeah,
that's Koi.
Koi.
You ever run into somebody in competition, can't pass their guard? You need to train them Koi, because you're not going to pass Koi's guard. That little
what? Yeah, we threw up a serious challenge to him.
Van Houten?
Nope. Well, they train together. That's one of the reasons Koi comes there, is because they like training together.
Okay.
Callie's guard.
Oh,
yeah. Koi was like, It's just awful.
horrific. Dude,
Yeah.
Allie's scary.
I know.
Allie's scary.
So funny.
That girl,
Just somebody
that
we
girl
know, yeah.
continues to impress me.
Yes.
The longer she's in jiu-jitsu. Like that's one I'm really excited to see grow.
But no, like,
It's wild when you could see white belts and be like, God, you're gonna be so much better than I am. Like,
yeah.
like, oh my God.
there's that was where, like, and now as I'm older and like,
Oh my God, we're getting older.
whatever. But like, I'm having fun with it. Like, we're doing this. Like, this is experiential. Like, you have to do this.
I guess I say that, but I know we're gonna train the same. Like I think I'm just sore.
Yeah.
And I don't drink anymore, so I heal all of it.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing about like doing art or doing like speaking, like, you have to just do it.
Yeah.
Like,
you can't
you could plan as much as you want, and like, I'm going to tell you right now, that plan is going to explode. And so, like we say, like,
It might work.
no plan survives contact with violence.
It might work for a little bit, or part of it might work, right? And that's the thing I think that we try to. I guess. Sorry, were you done talking? I keep your credit talk.
I was just saying, like, that's why, like, the art school thing, like, you're talking about, like, I wanted to dabble. Like, no, I wanted to explore the creative opportunities, because overall, I found that made me more creative.
That's what I mean by dabble.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, but like, the dabbling helps refine the one thing.
Well, but that comes from, what you and I have talked about, training with intent.
Right.
There are some people that I watch dabble and like they don't apply the dabbling experiences to other things, right? Actually, it's a really big difference between Dottie and Isla. Dottie dabble and then bring it back and apply it to other things. Isla doesn't. I have to tell her, like, why didn't, like, you went to jiu-jitsu and you learned this movement, but then you don't do this movement at gymnastics? And she said, oh, that's a jiu-jitsu movement. I said, baby, they can be both.
It's a movement.
And like trying to help her like create those pathways where like you can use a little bit of everything.
She's too focused on siloing everything.
Yeah, and she doesn't let them mix. In fact, she's said a few times she doesn't like when they mix.
She's super like,
yeah, it's this, it's this, it's this, and I'm just like, baby, it can be a little bit like I try to tell her, like, write your own story, like that's how you're gonna stand out.
well, that's, and maybe this is too high level of a concept for her age, but that's truly like when we talk about martial arts.
Yeah,
the art is the individual moving uniquely to their ability to make that outcome happen. Well, it's the same way with art too, just art in general.
it's an age-old conversation that I had with a lot of MMA guys, and then some jiu-jitsu guys or even MMA guys who have switched jiu-jitsu. Like, are you a fighter or are you a martial arts? And now there's a new one. Are you a fighter? Are you a competitor? Or are you a martial artist?
Yeah.
And like, if you're a martial artist, you could be the other two. And like, it's harder for fighters to become martial artists. And fighters seem to make a better transition. Competitors, when I say competitors, like the difference between fighting and compete, right? Fighting is inherently like, I am out here to damage to this.
Yeah.
Competing is like, I have, like, again, there can be damage involved. Like, I'm looking to win.
Yeah.
Fighters are looking to win.
I'll win, like, I'll play the game, I'll win by net advantage.
Right. I'm not talking about in jiu-jitsu. I'm talking about like, fighters are competing because that's where they can legally hurt someone. They can express violence and somebody else willing to accept it, right? Competitors, you have competitive volleyball, soccer, competitors want to win, right? Fighters inherently want to win, but they also want to deal damage in doing so, right? A martial artist, and the true martial artists that like, and that I typically, I find that I like all groups of them, because you need a little bit of everything if you're going to be a good martial artist, right?
Yeah.
Martial artists they're some of the nerdiest lookers. They're very calm. They're very collected. They're very almost unique. They will even eat like some shit or some violence and not inflict violence, even though they could, to exit a situation. All right. They're just they're much more like, I don't even know, like they're just not open-minded. They're just.
It's a let me kind.
Yeah,
I switched that idea.
Yeah, please do.
And I think
half the time I say something, you're like, oh, I can fight.
I think, I think the best description, and it was out of a horrible situation. We're talking about Leandro Lowe. Hickson Gracie came in and said, that just shows me he was not a true martial artist. He wasn't aware of what was going on. He wasn't aware of violence. Didn't sense this was going poorly. he just had ego and wanted to compete and wanted to do fights. Like, he wanted, like, there was this
competitor fighting.
yeah, competitor. And like, roast me if you will, that's fine. But that true idea of like being like, no, like I'm not gonna fight you. Like, while I'm still like, I'm ready, but like, no, I don't want to fight you.
Yeah.
I'm ready for violence, but I'm also willing to just be done with it.
Call it a night.
Yeah,
Go and
call it that.
leave, whatever
Like,
it is, right?
like-
and like, that's such a sad one. That is, I mean, and again, like,
it is sad. Like, I'm not.
yeah,
Like,
and I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
No one here is saying that it's not sad, but like, how can we take such a horrific thing and learn from this mistake that happened, right? And it was a mistake. It was a mistake of many things. Like, first off, the dude killed him.
yeah,
That you need to edit that because will we get flagged on YouTube for one for saying that word?
killed.
Yeah, no, okay. I don't know what those guidelines are. I just see a lot of the creators talk about it. Like,
We're not going to get flagged for that. We're commenting on a real life event that happened. We're not propagating violence. We're describing a violent situation that happened.
the trust
inside of,
when you
like a culture
so
war party.
yeah, and some
So
lessons from it. Like clearly there was alcohol involved or something. Some kind of like mood altering thing was involved. And like sometimes just to like when like let it go isn't just like, oh man, like F that dude. And like you lower your guard and you just continue to have a good time. Sometimes it's just time to call it a night. Sometimes it's time to like a tactical retreat isn't losing.
No.
And it doesn't garner you any disrespect.
But what you're talking about is what you were just making the point about. That is that understanding that you're talking about is being a true martial artist, like tactical retreat, calling it a night, or just like, hey man, like, sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
I'm
Can I buy you a drink?
Yeah, can I buy your drink?
Like, and then after that, you buy the drink and then you fade away.
Yeah.
So that dude's not there to maybe be still angry at you, even though you smoothed it over.
Yeah.
But those tactical and social awareness abilities are, yes, you can be confident that you can protect yourself, but you're not looking for the violence. You're ready for it if it's there, but you're actually trying to have that idea of martial. You're being magnanimous because you understand that you can be violent. The magnanimous means like you're doing it with good intent.
Oh, okay.
Like you understand you can inflict martial violence on that person.
Yeah, but this is that moment of like martial understanding, partial understanding, right? Like, I'm always down, right? And I find it interesting and like that stuff, right? There's no like these comments that we get like, oh, I just draw my gun or I'd pull my blade. You want to see how long? Like, I can't run fast, but I can run long, and I can do it for a while. Like, I'm not gonna sit there trying to beat a knife unless I absolutely have to. Like, my kids are involved. You're trying to attack somebody else. Unfortunately, I'm dumb enough to, or maybe just I know myself enough. If you're going after somebody else, if you're inflicting harm on other people, I don't know if it's just the way I am or my profession or whatever it is, but like I know that I'll probably end up getting hurt as well, trying to do something to fix the situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like if it's me, like if for whatever reason, like I've been targeted, and I'm so sorry, like I don't know what I did to offend you, or maybe I do know. Like, I'm an asshole. My mouth runs really fast, and I say some wild shit. I say some wild shit. It gets me into some situations like this week that I was not prepared for.
Flag on the play, we're not going to talk about
No, we're not. But like again, there's nothing wrong with a good tactical retreat.
And that goes back to that.
And that can be applied to when you're fighting. Like, oh man, that dude's guard is really good. I'm gonna tactically retreat out of this guard. Like, oh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Right.
So I agree. Like, that completeness as a martial artist is super important. So we've talked about
Drop like
registers. We talked about why the good or bad, and we'll try and get some feedback from people who have carried them.
Mm-hmm. No, we're not trying to talk out of the shell here. Like, we want all your guys' opinions.
Yeah, we want opinions. We want feedback, and like what we talked about with the death of the Low. Like, it was a controversial thing that Hickson said, but at the same time, he was speaking to a part of the jiu-jitsu culture that is often ignored. Like now, because a lot of people do it as sheerly as a sport, but they forget that they are dangerous people.
You gotta think that all that Hickson did is he took something like he took a horrific event and he applied the running medium that is said about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
When you fight a Muay Thai fighter, and then the person like throws like a leg kick, right?
Yeah.
When you fight a judo guy and they get a whole year and they throw you. When you fight a jiu-jitsu guy, it's usually pulling guard and they're trying to grab your shirt tail. And that's the joke, right? Because that's the joke. Like they're ground fighters. A lot of schools start on the ground. They do newaza. They don't practice takedown. And like they're going for an advantage, right? Very few. And the reason why is they're a lot. And it's this weird shift that I've watched happen. And that's what I've said a lot, right? Because, oh my God, I forgot his very. He used to say the pussification of jiu-jitsu is upon us, and he's Kurt Osiander, right? He said that, right? Where like it just became like trying to win by advantage, double pulling guard, like nobody knew a takedown anymore. Like what I view it as, especially now, is like the Americanization and monetization of jiu-jitsu, right? I want you to start at 47 and stay till you get your black belt and pay me a good amount of money to learn how to move your body through these positions. Yeah. With some mild resistance. So that's what's happening. Like there's some mild, like the resistance factor, like the beauty of jiu-jitsu, which is hard roll, like where you get to apply it 100% is now being watered down. Like, oh, we're only going to do situationals if you get out of back take restart. And then you do half an hour of that and there's no open rolling. Yeah. And the reason why is like, injuries come from there. You get people with egos, so you get some discomfort on the mats in terms of like confrontation, or you get some people who are on the fence about it, and like the first time like they get choked for real, first time they get caught, somebody bites hard on them, or we there was a girl who quit because her hair got stepped on, and like a big tuft of it got ripped out. And she said, you did that on purpose. And the dude was like, I didn't even know. My knee was there. It's from the outside control. Yeah. So you're trying to retain customers, but you're doing a wildly uncomfortable thing. But then you start watering it down by making it more comfortable. Yeah. Like there is nothing comfortable about life-saving fighting.
No.
It's horrific.
Like that's one of the things I really appreciated about Endeavor, which is my home gym. Like it wasn't started with literally first day there, started standing. I was like, oh, okay.
I don't know anything about this.
Well, I mean, I've had fought people, but I got ripped down immediately by another more experienced white belt.
It's Rachel singing. That's lovely.
So you have that like contact. And so like having the contact, having the flexibility to start to adapt to it and then stay with it, because like it has not gotten any easier.
No.
Like if anything now,
it's harder.
Well, now they're like, you understand this position enough to be dangerous to me.
Oh, here you go. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Tim, briefly.
Yes.
Tell me the subtle difference that happened from the day before you got your blue belt and then rolling the day after you got your blue belt.
I wouldn't say it was the day before and the day after. I would say now being a blue belt for almost a year now, I think. Okay. I think I will be a year in June.
All right.
As I've actually gotten better in these positions, I'm starting to understand the micro battles that are happening. And then I instantly like, I'm losing. And I just have to do something horrible to myself, because I know the way out of it is through this horrible piece of like my neck's being controlled by an inch this way. And now like my hand's in the wrong position. Like I got to inch it and move it just enough.
I think you get it.
While trying not to let them rip off this other limb.
I think like, I asked my question.
Okay.
What was the change in intensity to how people rolled with you when you got color to your belt? Or was there even a change?
No, because I was already proficient as a white belt, and so I was getting a lot of like heat. But then like as they saw that like I was leaving as a blue belt, the pressure, the intensity and it's like a good thing. It's not like there's no complaint here. This is like this is what I
subtle
was
smiles is because I treated him like a blue belt long.
Yeah, like I got my ass beat.
He was over ready.
Yeah, I got my ass beat from like 2 stripes forward.
Yeah,
which is fine. Like it's helped me now deeper into like the having color on my belt.
Yeah,
like it's like.
Do you feel like you were sandbagged? Do you feel like you were helped from your blue belts?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I was ready.
I think you were a true blue belt. I think when you guys were blue belt, you were a true blue belt.
Yeah.
But to now we have to be like, well, like that's sandbagging. Like, no, I think we're being honest about what the rank should be and not going with like the payment culture. Like I paid 6 months. It's time for a stripe.
If Mike said you're going to wait another year, okay.
But I
don't care.
I stand by what I said originally.
Yeah.
When I got my first rank, because I got white and blue from. No.
He shall not be named.
No.
Yeah. Right.
I came to Ronin. I think it was like a 5.5 year blue belt, and I got my purple belt from the tour. And I remember I looked at the girl's mom, and I said, "I'm good. I could do this. I just be here forever.
Yeah.
I'm here. Like I made it. Like
yeah.
Like I'm a true grappler. I'm a danger to any rank. Like I don't ever be promoted again." Ego gets involved, like all that stuff. Plus, like you want to make money. Like I can ask for more money as a blind belt, like whatever. Plus, I don't have to go in there and like, come on, man, let me fight that black belt.
Right.
Purple belt. Like some of them did it. Some of them actually took the risk and fought me, and a lot of them beat me, but some of them lost.
Right.
And like that can be a hard thing if you're a business owner, and then stuff. I don't think it is. If you conduct yourself well, and like anybody who knows grappling, like I'd rather follow somebody who loses consistently, but like puts themselves to the sword. Yeah. And like if you go put yourself to the sword and you come back and you handle me, I don't care. I understand there's levels to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But like there's the intensity that comes from like each rank. Like people put it on you harder. Like outside my black belt, and I come in like, all right, we're gonna flow roll. Nope. I'm gonna attempt to flow roll over somebody who is absolutely going 110%.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the rank is. If I'm lucky, a cool brown belt isn't being like, I wonder if I
got it today.
I wonder if I got it today, and I'm gonna have to be like, usually they do, and and I'm like tap, I'm like, all right, down the streets like black belt, here we go. Like, I mean, it's just how it goes. But like, I'm attempting to just move, just flow roll, and explore, and I want to do it forever, and like all these things, and I was gonna say, I teach at Delta Grappling Academy in Newark. It's outside Columbus. I do it as a favor to Joey, and the group's really good. I hate teaching. I really enjoy teaching there, but I think Joey got me. Joey said, "Hey man, if you want to come out at 5, an hour before your class, the MMA team does sparring rounds."
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, cool." And I was like, "Do you want me?" Like I was worried he was gonna ask me to come coach, and he was like, "No, like just go show those kids what's up." And I said, "What's up, bro?" And he said, "Yeah, like just bring your gloves and just go spar." And I was like, for an hour before training, he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, how much is that going to cost me?" He's like, "Are you going to pay me this?" He said, "No." I was like, "Okay." And like, I'm literally like, "All right, we got 30 seconds before I have to get my key on." I'm like, come on. Like, it's like 6:29, and I'm sitting, still doing rounds, like just having a blast, because all I really care about is training. But I've really grown to like that school because I'm one of 3 black belt instructors there, so they get like a real dabbling of stuff.
Right.
But I think I'm up there like sweaty, like flop sweat, like, all right, 10 minutes on the clock, takedowns, go. And then they're like, we have 8 new people. I'm like, cool. They're sitting right there, takedown. They don't know how to fall. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
I'll teach you how to fall. But like, we're gonna warm up and takedowns.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then when they have a couple bad falls, like, hey, you know how to fall correctly.
Yeah.
As in make you break falls.
Yeah.
And then, or if it's like It is like something that has to do around, like, I don't warm up with shrimps anymore, like, unless that's what is part of the technique that we're learning, man. Like I try and do the warm-ups built around it.
Some heavy equipment moving outside. Sorry. Like,
Construction in your, what is this place called?
subdivision.
That. But like, and then we follow one thing of curriculum for the month. And then I would say like by that third week, I've taught you everything that I know about this one position. And I'm just as bored as you are.
Yeah.
So like my last Wednesday of the month is open mat on a Wednesday night. And it's dope. It's so dope. Like what a cool thing. And like, first off, like I floated it out. Like I'm not the black belt who's going to like do whatever the class I want. But I was like, hey, Joe, I'm thinking about doing this. He's like, oh, I'm like, cool, whatever. I'm like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I let him know. I was like, I think I'm just going to do it, Matt. And I'll kind of answer questions at the end if they're already.
Right.
And he said, oh, like, that actually kind of sounds kind of cool. And I said, yeah. And then it kind of hit me. I was like, oh, no, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. I forgot I was in charge. Oh, my goodness. Like, whew. But it was the most fun I've had in months. And then the questions that came were super good. Like we found some big holes, some things to focus on. Like it's cool. Like I really dug that. But they get the full send of jiu-jitsu. Like there's no like that. You know, it's there's no pussification of jiu-jitsu on those decks.
No. So you and I've been playing with it a lot when we teach people professionally. But like we have gamified like what we do. You
really want me to? Where are you going with this? Because I don't understand this stuff. Like you're like you do it already. Okay, cool. I don't. I'm having that eye level. Like it's a silo. I'm not getting what you're saying. Yeah. Like
you have always kind of taught this way, anyways. Like it's where you actually shine as a teacher. You just haven't tied it to like the bigger concepts. And it's not a bad thing. Like you are very much experiential.
Well, that's how I learn.
That's what I'm saying.
Like I'm the Uki. If I need to learn something, I want to be the Uki.
You want to be the Uki, right? So the game, the like constraints-led approach, like whatever you want to.
What are their wizards called? What are the terms that are called?
Constraints-led approach, the ecological approach, like all that stuff, like whatever you want to call it.
Didn't that dude just do a big thing with B Team on it?
Cool. He did. He put out 2 separate videos. One was how he designs a practice. He went in and taught B Team how he designs practice for certain takedowns. Mm-hmm. And then the second video was how he designs practice for leg locks.
Cool. Okay, cool.
And so it was like constraints around certain positions. And like, this is your goal. This is how you, like, this is the end of this. And then he builds into like, essentially like a submission from those positions. But it's like
control to the finish.
Yeah, but it's like with maximum resistance from the players.
Gotcha.
So it's like if you and I are doing it, like obviously I'm outskilled from you, like in almost everything that we're doing, but that helps me learn defense. It helps me learn when I'm doing it wrong by feel. And so then what he does, like pause it. Okay, good.
Because like maybe this is a moment for me to connect things. So like for you, like you're outskilled, right? So it helps you out defense. Something that I did and still do with you sometimes is I'll put a negative on me. One of the most common and easy ones that I do when I'm rolling with blue belts and lower is I roll my eyes closed. I will not open my eyes. And so like I've made a game for myself where it's all feel. Like I don't know what you do. And you've guided me a few times because you've broken contact and you know my eyes are closed and I can't tell where you're at. And so you'll come in and give yourself a great advantage in position and like I have to work out of it. But like that's a really fun, or sometimes
that's more of like a
game.
It's not really a constraint that I'm talking about. Like the constraint would be like, all right, so we're in 50-50 in like leg positions. Mm-hmm. You need to make a better position.
So that's not what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like you need to pass one of the legs over to make it not like uneven.
Okay.
So that you have the maximum amount of control in like a dominant position.
Okay.
Or like if we're doing stand up, your goal is to touch my hands to the mat, and my goal is to not let you do that.
Okay.
So like a snap down. Yeah, like it's like a true grappling game, and it's like the person's allowed to resist you up to them. Like
typically it warms up with games like that.
Yeah. And you said, like, it was some of the better training you had in a while, like from like it was unique and there was a lot to their game that you hadn't been exposed to in some ways. Like,
my first time touching 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu outside of competition trade.
yeah,
My takeaway is I'm touching something that moves way differently that I have never touched before.
yeah,
Everything they have is built to destroy my much more traditional Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
yeah,
Like, my common movements went into
their attack,
their attacks and their positions.
yeah,
So like I ended up in some really bad positions. My knee popped a few times, but that was because I was trying to get out. I knew I was almost at the end, and I was trying something. And even the Zach was like, dude, that's a cool way to try to outlast. And he was like, sorry, your knee popped, but like that might be a real defense.
mm-hmm.
And I said, maybe something more flexible, or maybe cool,
Yeah.
but I think I said it to you. If I had to like sum it up in one sentence, 10 Planet feels like modern catch as catch can.
Yeah,
Every single position is meant to do serious damage. Now, they also have a wild thing. Like, if they're very funky guard, and it's really hard to pass their guard.
yeah,
But if you pass their guard, they do almost like an upside down turtle defense. Like, you can't. There's no exposure on elbows. You can't get to their neck. They'll let you mount. They'll let you do side control. They'll let you knee on belly. And once you are attacking, they have a complete, from almost every position, a re-guarding thing that immediately puts you in almost tapped out trouble. And so they'll let you, almost some of them will let you pass because they're better at the attacks from bottom mount or bottom side control. And what a wild concept that is such a strange thing. I'm so glad that like I've gotten to touch it now instead of running into a true one in a competition. At least I'm getting some feeling for it, or like understanding like this could happen.
yeah,
But and again, like every single thing that they do is almost a lock.
Yeah.
Like even their sweeps, like they are trying to strain your leg. Like, and the only time I've ever felt that was Jake McKenzie's knee twist half guard.
yeah,
Like when a teammate of mine, oh God, Lewis, we had to tell him finally, like, hey man, you got to ease up. You're ripping.
then you're like,
His knee twists were so good, your knee would rip, and it's from half guard.
yeah,
And it's the closest thing I've felt. Now, but it's consistent with 10 Planet. 10 Planet
Yeah.
is very consistent, and it's
like the like true lockdown.
a true lockdown, and like stuff like that was crazy, and I'm excited to touch it some more. I don't know that I can add it to my game. The flexibility that they have is a lot of their things. Like, there's some things that I can't do. Like I got held in, is it mission control? Like their kind of basic guard where like they have their own leg up.
Yeah.
I already know I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't. And I've seen some people be like, oh, like you angle off. If I'm going to angle off that much, I'm going to wrestle up or hit a sweep or do something. I mean, it's not that I'm not interested in learning it, but I already know like my hip and my knee don't bend that way.
Yeah.
Same way that I almost blew my own knee attempting a buddy choke.
Yeah.
Like I just don't bend that way. I have to accept that there's some things in my body.
Yeah,
like
that's where
body triangles. There's no reason for me to ever risk my ankles, which have been broken multiple times from soccer, and now heel hooks.
Yeah.
There's no reason for me to ever body triangle because it breaks my own ankle.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's just not, there's some things you got to accept. Like, and that's the beauty of it. Like, I think that body styles make your style. And you're gifted. You have natural gifts from God. Like you and I having an unholy gas tank that we got to work at. We don't really work at it.
Like,
Like,
it was very odd.
it is. It's a strange one.
Odd thing.
But,
Right.
oh, one more thing. I don't know if you saw that article that was posted, but we were talking about, I had never seen anything come out of New Wave, never saw anything from New Wave. And then it's almost like we spoke in the universe. A female brown belt from
Yeah.
was like, New Wave ain't for tourists. There's no music. It's not fun. We're there to slay and
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah.
That's it. And that was the end of the article. That's all she said about it. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, that's why I don't see New Wave stuff.
Yeah, like they make some content, but it's like very controlled.
That being said, though, I can't name anybody from New Wave. I don't know anybody in New Wave. I don't know anybody who trains there. I don't know anybody who does that. Like
Gordon Ryan.
Gordon Ryan, his girlfriend, Gary Tolman.
Dan Matisau.
Who's that?
That big dude. He's one of the like ultra heavyweights.
Cool. I mean, I'm not being disrespectful. I don't know who that is. I haven't seen.
Juliana Creeder.
Okay, I know.
Yeah, she's out brown belt.
Yeah, she just won a big one.
I mean,
She's one
you
of-
think that she doesn't win?
I know, but and she also markets herself well. Same way like Gary Tolman is easily marketed himself well. And you know what I haven't seen? Well, I haven't seen Eddie Cummins or
I think he quit jiu-jitsu.
what?
Did? At least he
What?
doesn't anymore. At least not like at the last.
Outside training.
I don't know.
And then the other one, who's the dude, the Freakazoid dude from Ted Planet?
God, good then.
It's his name is like Freakazoid. He beat Eddie Cummins. I forget, dude. That's probably the most frustrating thing. It's like it's there. I could see it in
Yeah.
the face. I could draw a picture of him.
Nope.
It's just there.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be what it feels like to like not be able to like under like a language barrier.
Yeah.
How do I
Say it louder.
draw a fork?
Say it louder. They'll understand. Scream it at them. They'll get it eventually.
Oh, don't do that as a police officer.
No. So, drop like holsters, Training 10 Planet if you got one around you. Check it out.
Check out any gym.
Yeah, check out any gym.
Like
Touch different people.
you should like again like I love that. I love very much that like I train at Rogan. I feel like I'm one of the only people that actually embodies that definition. Like GF Team Gypsy, like I train everywhere. It should be where you live versus everybody. Even to the extent that like Queensbridge. We talk about or not Queensbridge, Queen City.
Yeah.
Queensbridge is where my house used to be. Queen City, Ruben's place. Like, I love those dudes. Unfortunately, like, because they're just far enough away from Columbus, like, I have to fight them all the time. Make no mistake, when they're fighting anyone, I'm like, Ohio versus everybody. Like,
Yeah.
because the Midwest gets slept on for our grappling, and, like, we really, like, we work just as hard as everybody else. Like, it's boring here, and our weather's shitty. We don't mean we're bad at grappling. Like, and I love the Queen City guys. Even when I fight you guys, like I adore them. Like they're great dudes.
I was saying there's a lot of cool people from Queen City that we've met.
Oh my god, yeah. Like and I love them. And I think for a time before my motorcycle wreck, me and Ruben had the same motorcycle. We had Triumph Thruxton R. That was way too much fun. Oh my god, it's so gorgeous. Anything else? We done?
No. So,
Stay whimsical, stay combative, and then whatever he's gonna say, and we'll be out here.
we love haters. Hit it in the comments.
Hey, it's ball.
Haters ball.
We should
See you
do
guys.
one of those.
Yes.
We're gonna do Monday morning quarterbacks.
Nice.
We're gonna do Professor Tweeds.
And the hater ball.
Hell, but I will wear a top hat today.
I think you should find the douchiest gi.
I have a company that is covered in patches.
Yes. So,
Okay, next time.